Redmi, and now some more Redmi. That's what Xiaomi's strategy has been so far, and it seems to be working. The latest is the Redmi 4 smartphone, which marks the return of the budget series. Prices start as Rs 6,999, but this time there's a 4GB RAM and 64GB storage version as well. So does the Redmi 4 live up to the expectations? Let's find out in our review. So starting with the positives, I'll have to say the Redmi 4 packs a punch for its budget pricing. This is one of the best designed budget phones you'd find in the market. It looks like a mini Redmi Note 4, and frankly, that works in the phone's favor. It has a gorgeous matte black version as well, which I like, even though it is prone to smudges. Now, given the 5-inch form factor, this is one compact phone and it will easily fit in your jeans pocket. Also, you can use it with one hand without any trouble. Now, Redmi 4 has a 5-inch HD display, and while the 720p resolution might be a bit of a bummer, it works pretty well for this size. You can read easily on this display even in bright sunlight, and for video consumption, I'd say this is more than ideal. Now, battery is the highlight of the Redmi series, and so it remains with the Redmi 4 as well. It will easily last more than a day even with heavy duty usage. I didn't have to charge this phone on a daily basis. For most budget phone buyers, this is a major relief point. In fact, in our PC Mark battery test, it scores around 12 hours plus. But yes, charging this one takes some time because this doesn't come with fast charging support. Performance of the Redmi 4 is certainly above average when you compare it to other phones in a similar price band. The benchmark scores might not be that high, but the 3GB RAM version we got can handle multitasking easily. If your major points of consumption are YouTube, Facebook, and the rest of the social media brigade, then this phone is more than enough. Side note, you can run games like Asphalt 8, etc. on this, but there is a noticeable lag. So let's move on to the camera. Now, the Redmi 4 has a 13MP rear camera, which manages to get some really nice shots when the light is proper. It is quick to focus, though the HDR results take some time to process. However, the low light performance is not exceptional, but then it's not terrible considering this is a budget phone. Other features of the Redmi 4, the fingerprint scanner is now standard across all storage options. It works pretty accurately most of the time, and yes, this phone supports 4G VoLTE for those who want to know. So what are the negatives? Now, the phone is still running Android M. Xiaomi has promised an Android Nougat build, but they sure could have launched the phone with the latest build. After all, Android O is already here. Now again, I'll have to dwell on the low light performance, which is still far from perfect. Also, colors like red tend to look washed out in some of the photos. But given this is a budget phone and there is an option for under 7,000, you can be a bit more forgiving. So the phone tends to heat up at times, especially when you leave it for charging. However, it's not something which would discourage usage of this phone. So what's the competition for the Redmi 4? Well, I would say the Moto G5, even though that is priced at 11,000 plus for the 16GB version. However, the other competition would end up being the other Redmi phones, which is the Redmi Note 4 and the Redmi 4A. Now, the Redmi 4A starts at 5,999 and it has 2GB RAM plus 16GB storage. The Redmi Note 4 also has 32GB base storage and it starts at 9,999, and there's a 10,000 version as well. So what's our verdict for the Redmi 4? Should you buy this phone? Well, frankly speaking, for potential Xiaomi phone buyers, the market has just gotten a lot more confusing if you look at the way the phones are priced. Especially between Redmi 4 and the Redmi Note 4, there's not much of a price difference. And really, which one you want will depend on your usage. If you want a phone with a long battery life and you don't care for the big display, then get the Redmi 4. It works right, but don't expect this to be some gaming wizard because it does struggle with high-end graphic games. However, those who prefer a bigger display like a 5.5-inch Full HD display, I'd say stick with the Redmi Note 4.